Today is the last day of the month of June, but after June comes another month. So every ending is a beginning. Today we're going to talk about cats. Some people say that Saturday is Catter Day. Have you ever seen any of those memes or little posters about it's Catter Day?
No, that's news to me. I've never seen any Catter Day or Dog Day or any kind of day except Friday.
No, they have this whole thing like online. A lot of people are like, it's Catter Day, and people post pictures of their cats. And one, I have this one daughter who has a cat. Actually, it's her husband's cat. The cat's name is Mish Mish, which is, I don't know, I think it's like an Arabic word for apricot tree or something like that. Anyhow, she was telling me several years ago up in Portland that they go to these cat petting parties. So they would put Mish, this really amazing cat, he's a really cool cat. They would put him in a basket, and then they would ride their bicycles to this park. And it was kind of like a meetup, and everybody had cats. And you just kind of meet up, and you're like, oh my God, your cat is so amazing. Like, oh, your cat is so amazing. Like, no, your cat is so amazing. And they would have these, they had it on Saturday, and it was in Portland, Oregon, and it was called Catter Day Meetup.
Well, that seems like a good excuse to talk to other people.
It is. It is. Everyone is so busy. You know, people are busy in their jobs. People are. This was much before the pandemic, and before Portland got kind of real crazy with a lot of other strange, bizarro political stuff going on there. But yeah, I mean, they have dog parks in Dallas. Dallas is run by dogs and women that have blonde hair. But Portland is a cat place. Lots of cats.
Do you have any sort of a cat cafe in Portland?
Oh, they have cat cafes in Portland. Now, they tried to make one here in Dallas, but what they wanted to do, they partnered with like SPCA, Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. It's an adoption company. So somebody decided, well, let's have this cat cafe where you can come in and you can get tea or chai or coffee, and then you can also practice with the cats. And if you like the cat, you can adopt it. But instead of just making it free entrance, they had to pay $15 just to go into the place. I mean, Dallas is all about making money. Like, you know, I'm surprised that they're not charging us rent just to breathe the polluted air. But yeah, they had this cat cafe. And I've also heard that they have cat cafes in Japan, because a lot of people are living in very, very small spaces and may not have room for a cat. So that they, on their lunch break, they go to a cat cafe and like hang out with their girlfriends or their guy friends, or they just go there and just pet cats. And would you like to do that during lunch?
No. Well, I was thinking, because I have this cat, and it's a healthy cat, and I just sometimes I leave my house for a couple of days, and I'm not comfortable to, when my cat is alone, because I kind of have to make sure that there's somebody to freshen the water and check in a couple of times a day to see if it's okay. I thought if we had cat cafe, I would have been probably able to check in my cats for a weekend. And I don't know, not that I would be super comfortable, but still, it's better than leaving them home alone.
Yeah. Well, I have had many different cats, and my last cat was a very famous cat. His name was Stuart, and people always said, "Oh, is he named after like Stuart Little?" I go, "No, he's named after John Stuart Mill." They go, "Who's that?" I go, "He's a philosopher." But this cat was the most amazing cat. He lived a really long time. He was very smart, and I had this cat when my daughter was actually in medical school and she was studying. And we have this picture. She has a book. It's a neurology book, a book about like neuroscience, like this super thick book, and she has little yellow tabs on it, and there's a yellow marker up in the, like magic marker, like highlighter up in the right hand corner of the picture. And then the cat Stuart is kind of laying on the book with his paw kind of up towards the marker. It looks like he's been reading the book on neurology. So I know that I love that picture, and I have used that in the classroom. Like I was teaching in a computer classroom, a composition class, and I would put that picture. I put that picture on the screen, like on a PowerPoint or something. And I just told the students to do some free writing. And the question on the board was, can you teach a cat to read? So they come in there and they see this picture of a cat with a highlighter. Now, what would you say if you were an adult coming into a classroom and the professor wants you to discuss, can you teach a cat to read? And there's a picture showing a cat with a highlighter.
Well, I'm sure you can teach her to read because cats are very intelligent. Sometimes I think that humans came from cat compared to dogs and chimpanzees and stuff. But let me go back a little bit. This Stuart, you said your cat's name was Stuart. I think that's a great name. I like that. Mine is called Tiger Cat, but Tiger like a tiger, but the
Like
family
yeah.
female tiger. What's it called?
It's
Tigerless.
called, it's I'm not even going to answer that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I know.
No,
So, but
there's something I mentioned yesterday, the story of Winnie the Pooh bear who's looking for honey. He has a friend named Tigger, Tiger, and
yeah, that's what would be the English equivalent of what I
Yeah.
call her.
yeah, Tigger.
Tigra. We call her Tigra.
That's nice.
But
That's nice.
yeah, but I call her Natasha. Yeah.
Oh, really?
You're the
That's
first
a
one
nice-
to know. Hmm.
Oh,
Natasha from accounting.
That's great. Well, I
Yeah, it
know
was a
that-
stray cat. I told you that we had lots of cats, the stray cats, in out of town house, and
Yes.
and decided to, help
Bring
them
her
out and took
home.
one at home because the winter was harsh. So I just hope I made this world a little bit better by doing this.
That's
So
great. Well,
I adopted
you know,
her, or she adopted me. I don't know.
That's true. Well, Stuart. Well, I don't know. I have discussed end of life with with my daughters, and one of them's a doctor. One's a lawyer, and well, I mean, I don't, I don't want to be grim or gruesome, but I always thought that if a person was very, very sick, should you pull the plug? Should you not pull the plug? Should you keep them on a respirator? What should you do? What are the philosophical issues related to humans and death? And then what are the philosophical moral issues related to pets? So I had this pet Stuart that had gotten some little nodes in its throat, like it was little small tumors. So doctor financed the surgery of the, it's very expensive to take care of a cat, as you probably know.
I know. Tell me about that. Sure.
Yeah. And if you go to a good doctor and you have a good vet and they actually know what they're doing, it's very expensive, but it's the responsible thing to do. So we got the cat surgery, and then somehow some other thing happened where I was going to have to. No, the cat before Stuart was Seymour. Seymour after.
Oh, that's
Seymour,
a nice name.
Yeah,
Nice
Seymour
name
was
too.
named after The Catcher in the Rye, the novel Seymour. Well, okay. Well, back to Stuart.
Yeah,
Let's focus,
Let me ask
yeah.
you before I forget. The Stuart, was he was he divorced?
You mean neutered?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Was Stuart new? Yes, because part of sort of being like, if you live in the city, an urban dweller, it's not really responsible to have your cat going out there like mating and reproducing all these cats all over the place. So quite traditionally, if you go to a nice place to adopt a cat, the cat has been spayed or the cat has been neutered. So
Yeah, I know. I don't feel comfortable with that, even putting this into words. But I know it's necessary because I had a cat a long time ago, and it pissed right all over the apartment, and it was awful. And they should be, I call it divorced, of course, but that's not what I mean. I just imagine that he's my brother from another mother, right? And such a kind of cruelty. But then again, we do worse with humans.
that's
God forbid.
true. Well, when Stuart became ill, it was winter. It was winter. And I lived in this same apartment complex, and my friend David Anton lived next door. We shared a wall. So he had the exact same apartment next door. And, Stuart was dying, and I believed in quality of life, so I had him in this like really great, like a pillow he could rest in, and I would feed him with a little eyedropper of some chicken soup. And I took the cat into the vet, and they said, well, we can put the vet down. I go, what if we don't, kill the pet? What if I just let the natural course of life? And they go, well, it's not going to be good for the cat. The cat's going to suffer. So I had to then try to discern how much the cat was suffering. But it was winter time, and I would like kind of bundle him up. And in Dallas, it was pretty cold, and sometimes it snowed. I just remember holding him and like on the patio, watching the snowflakes and coming back in. And then I don't know. And then I just finally got to a point where I realized that I needed to go ahead and take him into the vet to be put down. And then I had to try to figure out where to bury him. And then my friend David said, well, let's go take him out to his dad's property, because his dad has kind of like a sort of like a summer house with some land and everything. And then I had another friend that lived in the city she was a big cat person. She had this big, huge garden with, several cats buried in it. I mean, I know this sounds weird, but I mean, she's a really, really nice person.
No, that doesn't sound weird to me.
Okay, well, it's just
What's weird?
What?
No, it's not just, I told you a few days before I talked to myself, so that I wouldn't be weird. It would seem weird to other people. I pretend that I'm talking to a headset, but now I talk to my cat. Yeah, and she understands. I think if I tell you she talks back, you would think I'm weird, but
No, they vocalize.
I talk to my cat now.
Yeah.
I talk to my cat a lot.
Well, certain breeds of cats, like you can like figure out what kind of cat you want. You want one that, can chase its own food outside. Do you want one that'll snuggle in your lap? But there's certain breeds of cat that are they vocalize more. So like you can go like row row, and then the cat will go rah, rah, and then,
I do that. Yeah, I think we can talk to you like that.
I think so too. And also I'm very good with animals and small children and wounded hearts. but I just remember finally I understood that I did need to put the cat down, and I made an appointment and have it put to sleep. And I remember telling my friend David, and then all of a sudden I was like so upset. And then his cousin and the cousin's girlfriend came over, and then all three of them went to go to a Fleetwood Mac concert here in Dallas. And I was furious because I love Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. And then I was just like, not screaming, but like I was really mad at David. I go, how can you be going to a concert? You didn't even get me a ticket. And he goes, well, it was just like this whole scene. And then he was like banging his head on the cabinet, because he sometimes does that. It just like, and then all of a sudden Sage and Eric walked in like, hi guys, what's going on? I go, I can't believe you're going to a Fleetwood Mac concert. My cat just died. And then Eric goes, hi, Patricia. And I just went next door and slammed the door. Like it was very, very tragic and emotional. And then I did not take the cat out to East Texas, but cat's buried here in here in Dallas.
Yeah, because we are here because cats, I think they have infected us with some kind of mind-altering parasites, and that we love them now to the death.
Yes.
Do you know how it looks at you? And sometimes when it's fed and slept well, I think she holds me in contempt. Does that ever happen to you?
I think that cats are satisfied, but cats are very intuitive in terms of emotion. Like I know that when my girls went off to college, I had Seymour, and I was sad, and Seymour would like sit on my lap. And I didn't even used to like to watch football, but I started watching football because my daughters were at the university, and I kept thinking, like, maybe I'll see them in a stadium, like there's 45,000 people, in a stadium. But cats understand when you've been away and you come back. They have withdrawal too. Like I would living in Houston, I'd go fly up to go see somebody in New York, and I'd leave my cat with a cat sitter who would come over, and then I came back and the cat was like all weird and confused. Like you said, you go away for a few days, you come back and you wonder, like, is everything okay? Like having a cat is it's a complete project. It really is. It really
absolutely.
Is.
When I brought this to my apartment, I thought that's totally different from what they had in the out of town house. So it hid himself. It hid herself, and somewhere, I don't know where. And I know that I wouldn't want her to be there, but eventually I found her, and I started to read books. I started to read books about cat behavior, because just to get a sense of how cats, see their owners and perceive the world. to understand them. There are many interesting videos on YouTube too, because books, well, it's kind of a thing of the past. We're on YouTube now.
Well, but yeah, but I know that this cat, Stuart, David lived next door, and sometimes we'd both stand on the patio and, have coffee or just kind of talk. And I remember at one point in time when Stuart was, still fairly healthy, he ran into David's apartment and went under David's bed and crawled up into the mattress from under the bed. And we had this whole adventure of like, why is your cat in my mattress? And it was just this like, it was like this hilarious comedy. I had a broom and I'm like laying on the floor with a broom. And then David's cousin came over like, hi, Patricia, why are you laying on David's floor with a broom? Like it was just these crazy moments with cats. But
did you have to punish a cat for doing something
no,
like
why
that?
would I punish it?
No, sometimes you have to punish it, but then again, you can't punish a cat from what I know, because you should use positive reinforcement. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I didn't punish. Well, I used psychological warfare with my children to punish them, but with my cat. The cat was just having fun. Like a bunch of people were hanging around at David's talking, and maybe David was making chili on the stove, and like, well, wouldn't you want to be there too? I try to think of things from the cat's point of view.
Yeah, but well, Eva, you ever had Stuart rubbing its head against yours?
Oh yeah. That's when they do mind control to you.
Yeah, I think so too.
No, seriously.
Or maybe they're marking your head with their head. Because
no,
I read it somewhere that they produce some kind of strange pheromones on the face, and I read that because like usually Stuart would sleep at the foot of my bed, and but I had read something about what does it mean when a cat does this? What does it mean when a cat does that? But I went to go visit my daughter in Portland where Mish lives. Mish is still alive. That cat is super old. I don't know. They were gonna have a baby. No. They got this other cat named Pamuk, and Pamuk means cotton in Turkish, Pamuk. And so then they were going to have a baby, so they had like a baby crib. And then Mish was getting in the baby crib because it thought it was like a nice new little crib. The cat didn't understand a baby was coming, so the cat just got into the baby crib. And then they got a stroller, to push the baby around in when the baby came. And then the cat was like, they had this baby room set up, and then the cat would just be in there in the stroller. But did it scratch things?
No.
Because mine was to scratch furniture and rugs, especially. I don't know. It's some sort of an exercise, some form of exercise to have.
Well, it's like, don't you like to sometimes get your nails trimmed, or think of? Imagine if you could never scratch anything. Like, don't touch your face, don't scratch.
Oh, I do scratch. I do scratch now. I scratch the rug too, and I even like when nobody's watching, I scratch furniture a little bit.
Well, the thing is that like some people, I had gotten Seymour. Yeah, I had gotten Seymour when I lived in Houston, and you can choose to get cats that have their claws pulled out or they've got their claws still in. And I really liked this cat. This cat chose me. I went with my daughter to go choose a cat, and we really liked this cat, Seymour. And I go, what am I going to do? I have this expensive leather furniture, like this Italian leather couch and this Italian red leather chair. I go like, the cat is going to scratch up my Italian furniture. And then she goes, well, we're going to go ahead and get little nail caps. Like you can take it, like you go to the beauty shop. They have these cat places where they put these caps on. It was like so expensive. But she didn't want the cat to suffer. So she financed this cat nails and the covers for a while. It was like a whole project. I don't even know why we're
I know, but talking about you, I mean, I take it you're not scratching person. Well, me, I this expression, when I have an itch, I scratch it. So actually, even now I want to scratch something, things that you know.
Okay, well, so this cat Pamuk was up in Portland, and Mish was there. Mish is the one that goes to the cat parties, and Mish is the Arabic cat. But I mean, he's not Arabic, but he's got the Arabic name. Mish was only a year old and was rescued in Illinois in the snow because my daughter was in an away rotation, and she was up in Illinois, and someone said, oh, you like cats? Here's a cat. So she had this like almost like a newborn cat that she brought back to Indianapolis. It was called Naptown. And then she was going to drive back from Indianapolis to Portland, which is a long journey. and I happened to be up in Indianapolis visiting, and she had this beautiful, fabulous cat carrier. And so we got this brilliant idea, why doesn't the cat come to Texas? So here I am with this super expensive cat carrier. If it goes under your seat, the cat was less than a year old. This was Pamuk, the little white cat. And then I don't know, people had dogs, and then somehow they pulled me off to the side for a customs check. And there were these huge German Shepherd dogs, like, sniffing around looking for drugs. It was like a dang nightmare. But anyhow, I finally got the cat to Texas. It was like so hot here. And then the cat was such a sweet little cat that it clawed up the side of this one kind of mocha colored leather oversized chair that I had. Yeah, it was, and I'm sitting in that chair now. And then I flew that cat back up to Portland. That cat had such an amazing life, and it ended up being a rather short life. And that cat passed away on Christmas Day. The cat had to go to cat heaven on Christmas Day. It was like.
What about Stuart's eye? I mean, did you ever have eye contact with it?
Eye contact?
Because when they look at you, it's different from what dogs do.
Yeah, dogs jump up on you and lick you.
Yeah, but they can also kind of have these eye moments. But then if you look longer than a few seconds to a cat's eye, they may think you're threatening, and you have to like blink slowly to declare friendliness. That's what I do at least. Even when I talk to people now, I don't stare into the stranger's eyes for a long time. I just blink real slow, and they think, wow, I don't know what they think, but I like to see their facial expression.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had a cat. I remember I was living in Austin when I was at the university, and I was in this huge park, beautiful, big park. And I had taken a blanket and some books of poetry. Maybe I was taking a class in poetry, and I brought a thermos. And I just remember sitting in this huge park, and from a distance, I saw a cat. And the cat saw me, and the cat slowly made its way towards me, like from a far distant way. And then I just took the thermos and poured, I think I had lemonade in it or something. I poured a little bit into the cup of the thermos, and then that cat became my friend. That was one of my first cat friends. Oh, yeah.
Did you have any toys, like cat toys?
Oh yeah, I've had. Well, the Mishmish has.
I myself play with cat toys very often when nobody's watching too. But you don't. I mean, you don't have to buy these toys specifically because they're happy with anything handy.
They like a little piece of string. Yeah, a little piece of string or thread. That's fun. But
yeah, you feel. Are you sad? Because I think you're sad.
Yeah, I am sad. Yeah, I'm sad, but.
Do you want to talk about cookbook or something more wholesome?
Healthy eating.
Yeah, because cats, especially that you lost one, memories take you back in time, and that's not the happy moments.
Oh well, that's not why I'm sad.
Why are you sad?
I can't tell you. But no, I'm upset about something, and well, cats are.
Do you want to talk about that?
About what I'm upset about? I'm pretty sure I don't want to talk about it being recorded, but I'm
upset too. I'm upset and I'm upset.
But it's Friday. Aren't we supposed to be happy?
It's a Freaky Friday. Yeah, I don't know. Somehow when some kind of like holidays or Friday, everybody's happy. That day makes me upset. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's Friday because it's the beginning of like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's like a 4 or 5 day weekend because it's 4th of July coming up. But I wanted to switch briefly to a poem that uses a cat in it. It's written by Carl Sandburg, who's an American poet, and he lived from 1878 to 1967. He was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he spent some time in Chicago. And the title of the poem is called Fog, F-O-G. So he uses the metaphor of something about a cat to describe fog. Are you ready to hear it?
Yeah, I'm all ears. It's just that poem is a tragic thing, ordinarily. But okay, I'm all ears. Go ahead.
It is. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, let me tell you that cats never die. They just don't know how to. They get tired and they get old and their bones hurt and then they just don't die.
Well, you know, I think the ancient Egyptians believed that cats were reincarnated. And, well, the Egyptians had the Sphinx, which was the upper part of a cat, and then the lower, no, it was the upper part of a woman or a man or something, the lower part of oh, it was a woman, yeah, she had breasts. It was like the upper part is a woman and the back part is a lion. So there's lots of mythological creatures that are half and like the Minotaur and mermaids. But yeah, I don't know. They say that cats are the companions of witches, that witches have cats around them and wizards have cats around them. And some people say that cats are omens of bad luck, especially black cats.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, I don't know. The cat that came across the park when I was studying and I had my thermos of lemonade, it was a black cat. And sometimes, like, I have been sort of fighting myself about not getting a cat for about the past 3 or 4 years. And sometimes I go out on, like, in my car and just like drive around and look at interesting things. And sometimes I'll just stop someplace and I'll just see a cat looking at me, like from a porch. Like, I'll just be in a neighborhood and I'll see, you know, these little wooden houses and there's some plants out front and then there's like a cat on the porch. I'll just like stop at a stoplight and I'll just look to the left and there'll be like a cat just looking at me and I feel like the cat is telling me, take me home. And then I just tell them no. And then like,
it wasn't black?
Oh, they're all colors. They all want to come home. No, I don't know. I mean, they're different colored cats. Like, I was just parking my car the other day and the fence line where I park my car, the property next to it, they're building an 8-story mid-rise. So the foundation is sunk deep into the ground. It's going to take them a year to build this mid-rise. But before, that property used to have a lot of wooded area next to it. So, and then behind it is a stream. So there was water and then a wooden fence. So I would pull my car against the fence. And sometimes I would just see a cat sitting there who had crawled from under the wooded area and just like looking at me like, I'm ready to come home with you now. And I would just say, no, you're not coming home with me now. I'm not ready for a cat. And I've had these moments, like, it sounds kind of crazy because if you don't have cats and if you don't deal with animals, you wouldn't understand what we mean when we say, well, we talk to cats, or it seems like cats are talking to us. But like,
speaking about moments, I like these moments when, you know, late at night, I would lay in bed and I hear purring, you know, they purr now and then. And near my bed, so I say, and I lay my hand out, and the cat would scratch its head against my hand.
Yeah,
like that for a minute or two. I like that moment.
Yes. Well, there's an interesting word. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Crepuscular. It is. Cats are crepuscular creatures. Between late afternoon and evening, there's a time of shadows. The edge of the end of the day, the beginning of the night. It's like on the crest of, but yeah, I mean, I used to have tea in the late afternoon and like have sun come through the window and a cat would just like sit next to me while I'm reading. And I might just put my hand there and the cat would put his head under my hand to, like, I just had my hand sitting there and this cat, Seymour or Stuart, was so smart. He would just crawl under the hand to be petted, to remind me that he needed to be petted. Yeah, cats are pretty cool. There's also expressions, I guess, from the 60s, like he's a cool cat, or like, yeah,
but yeah, or a fat cat,
yeah.
Well, for about rich people. But you know, my cat, she's domesticated now, but she used to be feral, and she's still up at 3 a.m. every morning looking for mouse, I think, for mice. And when there's nothing around, she just attacks my feet, actually. Yeah, she's attacking my feet, trying to kill my feet, I suppose. Yeah.
Oh, especially if it's... Well, you know what you can do, like if your foot is under the covers and then it's 3 a.m. and if you just start moving your toe back and forth, like your foot is under the cover, the cat will think there's a mouse under it. Have you thought of bringing mice into your
live mice? I thought, but then I know that they kill the mice and they bring it up to your pillow just to the sign of appreciation. I don't want to have dead mice next to me.
Well, we talked about Tom and Jerry, the cartoon. I think we talked about that yesterday. There's so many cartoons about cats and mice, and I don't know, like there's a little Three Blind Mice as a, that's a little children's rhyme that, like, I think, cats and mice and dogs are going to be part of our lives for a long time. And I think, as you mentioned earlier in this episode, that people might go to these cat cafes or these cat parties to just to have some companionship, because life in the city is busy, and life on the internet is busy, and social media, people usually have two or three different channels going, and they're active on Facebook or Instagram, or they're active on MeWe or whatever else you've got, Tumblr and Grindr and all these insane things. Hinge, Hinge. But I have found that people are generally cat people or dog people. I don't find many people that are both cat and dog people.
Yeah. Well, you made me think about something else. Can I say? Can I say what you made me think about? The cat claws. I thought their legs only have 5 claws like humans have fingers, but then I read it somewhere, I guess, but that they have 6 in front paw and 4 and rear legs. Okay. I never counted myself. Did you know anything about that? Is this normal?
I have not been counting cat. have not done that.
I thought that if you dealt with this trimming cats.
Dreaming about cats?
No, trimming. When they close, they're real sharp. You trim them. And I thought maybe you calculated how many there are, or you had caps.
Yeah. Oh, the caps? Yeah. Well, that was a long time ago. Yeah, we've had the pandemic, and everyone's.
It's just that some cats. I've heard that they're looking for cat with, I think, with 5, whatever it is, toes. Let's call it toes, like human dog. And they found that they'd give the owner $1 million. So I tried to count, my cat's toes, but unsuccessfully. It's sometimes 6, sometimes 7, sometimes 4.
Well, I wanted to say something about. I just wrote down how many toes. Okay, well, humans have 5 on each. We already know that. How many toes on cats? Okay,
5 and 5, I guess 5.
Well, yeah,
below,
we can do
5 upstairs.
Oh my God! I'm not going to do this. This is disgusting.
What?
I now feel nauseated.
No, I'm interested.
You're always fascinated by the obscure and the perverse. Here's.
Yeah, but would you have to have a? Yeah, how many toes?
Escucha me. How many toes on cats? 18. Most cats have 18 toes. 5 toes on each of their front, 4 on the back.
No, that's not correct. It's supposed to be 6 on the front paws on each.
This says most cats have 18.
Okay,
5 on the front, 4 on the back. And the word is called polydactyl cats, because poly means many and dactyl means like, finger or toe.
Yeah, my cat have retractable claws, which really confuses me, because sometimes I'd like to play with her and there is no claws when I want to play, but when I do play, it's like really sharp things come out from their paws and I am all just full of scratches.
Yeah, well, maybe you should wear gloves.
Yeah, the construction workers have.
Here I'm reading that polydactyl cats are sometimes referred to as Hemingway cats, because the author Ernest Hemingway, who we did an episode about, was given his cat Snowball by the ship's captain and a drinking buddy. Today, with unrestrained breeding, these are Hemingway's cats, 50 of Snowball's descendants still live in the Hemingway home in Key West, Florida. So if you go to Key West, Florida, there are 50 cats who are wandering around the property. Okay, I'm going to segue into something slightly different. I want to talk about cat clothing. I was invited once when I lived in Houston. I was a professor, and I did this dual credit class, which means you teach first year of college composition to high school seniors. And I was teaching at this school, Katie Taylor High School, and this one young man said that they were going to be having at his church some kind of an event where you're supposed to bring your favorite teacher or a teacher who had made an impact on your life. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's fine. I can go sit and eat a dinner. Thank you very much. But the name, it was held at a country club, like super swanky Luke's Club. And the name of the party was called Wild About Jesus. And everyone was supposed to wear something jungle related. So there were all these women who were wearing like spandex tops, like, I guess you've seen them, kind of like sexy tops that are like leopard or you're a tiger, or, I just think that like women over 35 should leave that stuff alone. But so here I am at Wild About Jesus, and I just thought I was going to a dinner, and then like the whole night was just like so bizarre. Now there's all these different kinds of cats, like the Cartier, the famous jeweler, has a cat as its iconic symbol, and then the Jaguar is a car that uses the cat, and then there's other images. A woman who's chasing a younger guy is called a cougar. Like,
yeah, I know what it is. Hey, you mentioned Hemingway. You know that there is a museum at the house where he used to live, full of cats, basically. And
yes,
yeah, I don't know what city it's in, but
well, it's in Key West, Florida. That's what I'm saying. I'm just reading this article about cat toes, and it just happened to have a reference. It's in Key West, Florida, and on that property are the descendants of his cat Snowball wandering around.
Yeah, that's probably what I used to read, because we mentioned that cats normally have 5 toes, but at his house, all the cats have 6 toes on each paw, front paw, I think. That's what's called Hemingway's cat.
I guess so.
Do you remember that story, Cat in the Rain? We read it a while ago.
Yes, that was, I liked that story. I liked that story. It was short and it was very descriptive. And I think they were Americans in Europe someplace. They were in Spain,
Italy.
right? Or Italy or something. Yeah,
Italy, because the Italian hotel owner, I guess he was Italian. Do you remember the Signora? She said, Signora is Italian word.
Yes, and she was looking out the window, and she had her hair cut really short, and he was on the bed reading. And it was starting to rain, and she had seen a little cat under a table, and she wanted to go get the little cat and bring it up to the room, or have the cat to be a little more safe. And then she said, I'm going to go down and get the cat. And he goes, well, don't get wet. And she goes, well, I'm going to go get that cat. Then she goes down.
Yeah, I like that story for no particular reason at all.
But what could be the reason?
Well, the reason could be, probably when I read that, I imagined the woman and should be beautiful and with her short hair.
Uh-huh.
Did she have short hair, or she wanted to have short hair?
No, she has short hair, and she was saying she's kind of touching the back of her neck, and she says, I'm tired of short hair. I feel like it's a boy. I want to have long hair. I want to sit at my own table. I want to get that cat. And he just tells her, just shut up and pick up a book and let's just read.
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't.
The complex dynamic between men and women somehow spoke to me.
I agree. And the thing is, it was fashionable in the 1920s for women to wear pants and to wear short hair and to smoke cigarettes. So she was very fashionable. And if you think about Zelda and F. Scott Fitzgerald and Gertrude Stein and Picasso and Frida Kahlo and all these people that were in Europe as expatriates, like they were there at different times, but having short hair showed you were a modern woman, and driving a sports car and drinking certain kind of drinks. So I think that is an interesting story. Somebody recently told me that I should grow my hair longer, and I just told the person, thank you, thanks for sharing. I used to have my hair really long, but I have it short now, and I'm happy. So I don't care. But hair is very personal. Hair is very personal, like getting your hair done or getting your nails done. Or during the pandemic, you said you.
Are you sad?
What? Am I sad? Yeah, I'm sad again. I've been sad.
It's okay. Sad.
it's I've been sad to the whole episode because of a certain dynamic. Because the weekend is coming up and different people are saying, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? And people are getting into arguments. And I got into a bit of something. And
Yeah, but we've been there before, and you and me. I mean, we find comfort in sadness because happiness that just make us anxious, right? But sadness, on the other hand, we feel calm. Sadness feels real and good, and everything else feels fake.
Well, the other thing about happiness is that like you're always so anxious it's going to end, so you kind of ruin it. When you're having a good time,
Yeah.
I'm always like, this is like so amazing. Like, let me photograph it. Let me do. I have to take a coaster home. Like, you know, I have to text 4 people about this, whatever it is. Like, I really can't be in the moment, but I'm much more comfortable with this kind of. I don't want to call it depression, but kind of like low level depression, and just, you know, having a little bourbon in my coffee.
Imagine that you're in therapy, like I'm your therapist, for instance, and I feel like you're sad, and you know you're sad, that I'm trying to cheer you up, but you're ashamed to tell me that you feel sad, so I try to cheer you up and show you something or tell you something and say, oh, this could make you feel a bit of happiness, and you'd start crying instead of being more happy.
No, exactly. No, I do stuff like that all the time. Yeah, I do.
Because you don't want to be
stuff like
happy
that.
about existence. It feels wrong.
No, exactly. No. You know, it's just like, you know, Father Don was a very, very wise therapist and kind of existential Zen guy. And like, I would go in there with some very heavy problem, and then he would like point out something about it. And then once he told me, he goes, you know, you don't want to be happy. I go, what do you mean I don't want to be happy? I came here for you to cheer me up. He goes, no, you didn't. You just want someone to share your misery. That's one of the things he told me
But
once.
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I mean, he didn't mean any negative connotation. It's because he likes sadness, and me, we both like sadness. It lets us feel comfortable doing nothing.
Like you have the brutal commute, you know, whether or not to take your car, whether or not to take the subway. Like it's Friday, everyone's trying to have fun. People are trying to find some way to have fun. Like how soon can you get off the subway?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, the only thing that makes me happy is my chainsaw. So when I'm not sad, I'm happy with my chainsaw.
Well, you know, there's a very nice liquor store very close by, and it's called Goody Goody. Like Goody Goody. They have liquor from all around the world. They have all kinds of Russian vodkas and cognacs and really expensive things. They even have these giant locked cases. When I go in there, like I just went in there to buy some Maker's Mark, or maybe I went in there to buy some vodka for a birthday present for somebody or something. And then I go there and I'm sort of a little happy because I'm thinking I'm going to get this bottle and I'm going to get some kind of mixer, or maybe someone's making Bloody Marys. Then all of a sudden I see other people getting better bottles. And they're going to have more. What?
I mean, don't you have a phone call? Because I'm hearing this ring.
No, there's no ringing.
I apologize.
Oh, I do hear the ring.
There is someone at the door, and you just don't want to answer because you haven't finished talking to me.
No, it's 5:20 in the morning. There's no one at my door. Everyone's asleep.
That's why I was surprised to somebody at 3 a.m. at your door ringing the bell. Hey, goody goody! I heard that expression before. That don't be such a goody goody.
Yes, and we also like, oh, goody goody, let's go get this. We're like, oh, let's go get ice cream, goody goody. But like, I'm in that store and like I'm got my little list of what I want. Like, oh, I want this, and oh, I want that, and then I see other people that are getting different bottles, and then they're choosing other things, and I start to become sad because I think that they're going to a big party and they're all going to be having fun, and I'm just going to go back home and then tomorrow give this other bottle to someone else. And I just keep thinking like how sad this is. I mean, I can take something that's kind of relatively neutral, like going to the liquor store, it's neutral, like, you know, neither good nor bad, and I can turn it into sad.
Yeah, well, do you remember that the band, I would say, the Goatee, I guess, I like this song, Somebody That I Used to Know, and they have these words in it, you can get addicted to a certain kind of sadness.
Oh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I like that song. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them, absolutely.
And also around that same time, I like the song Losing My Religion by R.E.M. I always think of those two songs together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's time for me to go sit in the dark and have a shot of whiskey. Because
have a whiskey? I wonder what I should do. Maybe I should put some bourbon in my coffee.